Hi, everyone. My name is Abigail-Seaver. I'm a naturopathic doctor, and I specialize in helping women fix their digestive conditions and balance their hormones. And I am here with Linton Moore, who is a licensed professional counselor. Linton and I have known each other for a number of years, and we work together professionally quite a bit. I see a number of her clients to help with underlying digestive conditions, nutritional deficiencies, and hormone imbalances. And so I wanted to just start off with having Linton tell us a little bit about her practice.
Hi. Did you want to ask me some questions, or do you want me to?
Just tell me a little bit generally about your practice.
Sure. I guess I've been in practice over maybe 12 years now. Currently, I have a private practice in Telluride. So I see a variety of clientele. It kind of depends on what their needs are, but I would say mostly I work with a lot of trauma, as well as I'm also a certified addictions counselor. So there is quite a bit of substance abuse in the mountain ski towns at times, and so I'm somebody that works with that as well. I utilize EMDR as a specialty with trauma, with addictions, and also with sometimes just anxiety or depression, OCD symptoms, and sometimes just when somebody needs a boost in letting go of ego defenses that don't serve them anymore. So that would be my practice.
And what got you into that area of specialty of working with trauma and using EMDR and working with addictions? What got you into that area?
I would say I have a family history, generations before me, that have suffered quite a bit with all of the above, and so I think it naturally became something I was interested in, helping to assist people in moving beyond trauma and many of the other mental health issues that are around these days. So
absolutely. And through your many years of working with hundreds of clients, what do you see are the biggest struggles that people have related to trauma and addiction and depression and anxiety?
I would say externally, it's isolation, a sense of loneliness, a sense of not belonging, of survival, being in survival mode. And so from there, I would say if we launch into sort of that idea of the sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system, there's a lot of fight or flight with that. And so I work with people to also understand that if they can activate their rest and digest parasympathetic part of their nervous system and how to actually access it, because I think we're in a culture right now, particularly in a ski town, where most people are going very, very fast, barely breathing, and activating their fight or flight response just without even knowing that that's what they're doing, which is contributing to more of their symptoms. So
you've almost answered my next question, which is, what do you think are some of the biggest causes of these problems? Obviously trauma, there's been a trauma. And then what do you think are some of the biggest causes of anxiety and depression?
Well, the state of the world doesn't help right now.
Right.
There's a lot of uncertainty going on. And so mixed with our culture in what we value, which is not rest, but to continuously pull ourselves up and move forward, there's a lot of pressure to be in that mode all the time. And so it's that also with our food and our soils and the depletion of the microbiome, and it's sort of I'm just going to call it depletion, which I believe sort of mimics our own gut microbiome, meaning we don't have our natural I guess, I don't know how you would put it, but probiotic. We don't have what we need mostly to sustain and to keep us healthy anymore. And
Yeah.
so there, and then as the gut sort of reflects the brain chemistry as well, there's this kind of circular thing going on with the neurotransmitters in the gut as well as the mind. And there's just, I would just call it a big sense of depletion. And we need to activate and fill those gaps with minerals or kind of changing your brain chemistry or changing the gut chemistry. Depends on which way you want to go, but they're so connected that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy working with you. So.
Great. Yeah, you just answered my next question, which is, why is it important to address nutrition and gut health and hormone balance? And so what are some of the biggest mistakes you see people making with their lifestyle choices?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with coping. So if there's imbalance, consistent imbalance, then there's disharmony in the soul and in the mind and in the heart and in the gut, essentially. And so the coping ends up being, not, a lot of times it does result in eating disorder. Anything to sort of try to control what's happening outside of themselves or inside of themselves. So there's substance abuse, and then also the pharmaceuticals sometimes deplete, the natural bacteria as well. And so the coping can also create more stress on the body and in the mind. So whether it's substance or even over exercising,
Sure.
We've got all of those combined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so give us an example of when you might think about sending a client to me. What are the sorts of things that are going on, or what things are making you think, oh, this person could be helped by seeing Dr. Seaver?
Well, sometimes even if they've, let's just give an example of depression. Let's say it's something that they've tried to mitigate through pharmaceuticals, or with even talk therapy, or even EMDR, and it just doesn't seem to shift in any way. Also, what I see often is insomnia. With this. So to me, there's a lot of little red flags that point to either hormone imbalance or diet inconsistencies and restrictions that are, or actually excess that are not serving the person at all. And, in order, I could start asking all the questions about what they eat and what, and I do. And then when it comes to, just going a little bit further and to have actual tests, and I like the way that you can do the labs to find out even more about this, and particularly with women's issues, health issues. I believe hormones dictate so much of what's going on, and the endocrine system. And the fight or flight puts that in another stress sort of response that is imbalanced. So the imbalances, I can sort of cue into them, but then to send them to you means that, it's validated on that level. And I think that in fact gives people a sense of peace that they can work with.
Absolutely. Yeah, that there's something else that we can work on to
Yeah, and it's on
improve the
paper.
entire situation. It's not all in their head. Yeah.
Right, that was beautifully said. It's not all in their head. Mm-hmm.
And so, what kinds of outcomes do you see when people are taking good care of themselves, and then when the rest of their system is better balanced?
I believe there's no longer a fight or flight response going on. There's the ability to take a step back, to actually embrace some of the mindfulness, the awareness. It's just not having to be constantly reactive.
Mm-hmm.
And when we can take ourselves out of that place, then there's the ability to make choices that actually continue to better the person or to create more balance. And when they're not in that place, then it's almost impossible to choose healthy habits, because the intuition is also a little bit off.
Right.
And also the discipline, the willingness, and just the motivation is lacking. So
Yeah, great. Yeah. So that was beautifully said. I would like to ask you, are you taking new clients?
I will. I do take new clients.
Okay. And would you
I
like
have,
to share how people can get in contact with you if they would be interested in working with you?
sure. You can look up my website, which is on psychologytoday.com. So if you Google Psychology Today and search for a therapist, I'm in the Telluride area, the 81435 zip code. And that has all the information there. And I
Okay.
think that's the best way to see how to get in touch with me and sort of what my philosophy is.
Great. Great. And for those that would like to work with me with nutrition, hormone balancing, improving digestion, my office number is 970-626-3188. And I have a website at drabigailseaver.com. All right, Linton, thank you so much. It was wonderful hearing about your practice and how we work together. And thank you so much.
And thank you, Abigail.
You're welcome.